Hey guys, Pilas Ramos. The game literally just ended right now. Dolphins ended up losing 21-31. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
So the Dolphins are now 0-6. Meanwhile, the Bills are now, 5-1. So that being said, you would think that Miami didn't have a chance in this game whatsoever, and that wasn't the case. Dolphins actually were winning at halftime. It was 14-9. Then the Dolphins and the Bills both went scoreless in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, the Bills scored 22 points. Meanwhile, the Dolphins scored 7. Literally, if Dolphins would scored a touchdown, the Bills don't return an onside kick for a touchdown. Micah Hyde just leaped up, spinned around in the air, took it for a touchdown. If none of that happens, my game pick score would have been completely correct, 14-24. But, you know, football is football. So, like I do with every game, let's go into some stats. Starting with the Dolphins quarterback passing, Ryan Fitzpatrick went 23 of 35, 282 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and that interception was the play that I feel like shifted the momentum from the Dolphins to the Bills. Dolphins were driving down the field after the beginning of the third quarter, my God. Third quarter, Dolphins were driving down the field. I think they took like almost 8 minutes off the play clock or something like that. We got screwed over on a 3rd and 1, and it looked like we had gotten the first down. We didn't. And then we fake the field goal. Matt Hack picks up the ball, runs, gets the first down. A couple plays later, we throw a pick. It was a bad ball, and it was almost about to go out of bounds before they picked it off, but whatever. And then Josh Allen didn't have such a good game. 16 of 26, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was sacked twice for a loss of 14 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick wasn't sacked at all this game. Albert Wilson technically got a snap at quarterback. It was he did an end around, came behind Fitz dumped it off to him, and then he was going to look downfield, and then he tried avoiding a tackler, and then he tried avoiding another one because they were just coming after him, and then they eventually got him for a loss of 10 yards. Rushing, Dolphins, Mark Walton did pretty good. He had 14 carries of 66 yards. Longest one he had was 19 yards. It wasn't that bad of a game for Mark Walton. I felt like he did really good as a starting running back in this game. Kenyon Drake, 6 carries, 21 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 6 carries, 13 yards, 1 touchdown. He had a 12-yard TD run. The one in the fourth quarter. Kalen Ballage, 3 carries, 7 yards, 1 touchdown. Matt Hack, 1 carry, 2 yards. That was the first down that we needed. Now when you look at the Buffalo Bills, Frank Gore, 11 carries, 55 yards. Josh Allen, 4 carries, 32 yards. Devin Singletary, 7 carries, 26 yards. Patrick DeMarco, the fullback, 1 carry, 4 yards. Next, when we go to receiving, Preston Williams was our leading receiver. He had 6 receptions for 82 yards. One of them wasn't a good reception to have. He fumbled it. I'm going to go over that later. But let's see. Devontae Parker, 5 receptions for 55 yards on 10 targets, so he didn't really have that many catches. But some of the balls, little thrown off, thrown behind him and whatnot, stuff like that. Next, we have Allen Hurns, 3 receptions, 53 yards, no drops. Mike Gesicki, 4 catches, 40 yards, and each one of his catches were magnificent. No drops for him either. Kenyon Drake, 3 receptions, 37 yards. On 4 targets, the one that he dropped, it was a little thrown behind him. It was kind of hard for him to make a play, and then he was about to get his knees taken out if he would have actually caught that, to be honest. Albert Wilson, 1 reception, 22 yards. Durham Smythe, 0 receptions, 1 target. Mark Walton, 1 reception, -8 yards. It was a running back screenplay, and got blown up instantly. And then they ripped off his helmet, and could have been called for a face mask, but the refs don't like the Dolphins, obviously. Next, we go to the Buffalo Bills. John Smokey Brown, like I mentioned in the first preview video. 5 receptions, 83 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 targets. So he did pretty well. And he was the only one really who hurt us offensively for the Bills receiving-wise. Patrick DeMarco, 1 reception, 27 yards. Duke Williams, 1 reception, 23 yards. Dawson Knox, 2 receptions, 22 yards on 5 targets. So he didn't catch the ball that much. He was dropping a lot of passes. Cole Beasley, 3 receptions, 16 yards, 1 touchdown. He had a 3-yard touchdown that Jamal Wiltz, every time I see someone scoring a touchdown, receiving-wise against the Dolphins, it's literally Jamal Wiltz covering them. So I don't know what is up with that guy covering people. Frank Gore, 1 reception, 11 yards. Isaiah McKenzie, 2 receptions, 11 yards. Lee Smith, 1 reception, 2 yards. Andre Roberts, 1 target, no catches. So let's go over some fumbles. Ryan Fitzpatrick fumbled the ball twice. He recovered 1, and then right now at the end of the game, he was looking at the coverage, and then the center snapped the ball. Fitzpatrick didn't notice it. And then most Miami Dolphins thing ever. Shaq Calhoun eventually gets on top of the ball, saving the Dolphins the misery of turning over the ball again. But when the Bills had just scored and put them ahead of the Dolphins, we're driving down the field. Preston Williams catches the ball, and then he fumbles it. He takes 2 steps. He does like a little hop. And then as he's doing the little hop, ball comes out. Jerry Hughes picks it up, and they take it back pretty far away, but I don't think it was a touchdown. Yeah, they ended up getting a touchdown on that because everyone just kind of like got it was just a big moving pile. Defensively, Raekwon McMillan was our leading tackler. 6 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. Jerome Baker had 2 QB hits. Let's see what else. Devon Godshaw had 1 pass deflection. I think we had Vince Beagle and Taco Charlton both had sacks, 1 each for both of them. I think that's about it. Yeah, nothing really crazy on the defensive side. Now when you're looking at the Buffalo Bills, Lorenzo Alexander, 10 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 pass deflection, 1 QB hit. Jordan Poyer, he had 2 tackles for a loss. Tre'Davious White had an interception on us. Not a good interception. So that's another thing. Dolphins got the ball at the half. They were up 14-9. Driving down the field, we took about 8 minutes off the play clock, and then we get screwed over on 3rd and 1. We have to fake a field goal, get the first down, and then 2 runs later, nothing happens. So we go to put the ball in the air, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of throws a duck. Tre'Davious White picks it off right on the 2-yard line, and then the Bills drive down and score a touchdown off of that interception after that. Now, kick returns, let's see. Durham Smythe had 1 kick return for 12 yards. Yes, Durham Smythe. I think the ball was just like kicked to him weird, and he ended up having to be the one receiving it. Micah Hyde recovered the onside kick and took it back for a touchdown. Yes, Dolphins scored, make it 21-24, do the onside kick, and then bam, Micah Hyde jumps up in the air, jumps up, catches it, spinning around, lands on his feet, no one in front of him, boom, touchdown. Bills are back up by 10. Dolphins have no chance. Yeah, it was a 45-yard return. Punt returns, Preston Williams 1 return, 19 yards. Andre Roberts, punt returns for the Bills, 3 returns for 22 yards. Jason Sanders only kicked extra points today, went 3 for 3. So, Steven Hauschka, Buffalo kicker, went 3 for 3 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points. Buffalo went for a 2-point conversion when they scored their first touchdown to put the game by 3 because it was 14-17 at that point. Matt Hack, 4 punts, 196 yards, 1 touchback, None of them were in the 20, and his longest was 57 yards. And Buffalo punter Corey Borquez, I think that's his name, 3 punts, 127 yards. No touchbacks. One in the 20, and then longest was 45. The one in the 20 was a fair catch called by Preston Williams on the 8-yard line or something like that. So, that being said, all the stats out of the way, Dolphins are now 0-5, no 6. We're 0-6. Bills are 5-1. New England 6-0. I don't even know. I don't remember who they're playing this week. And New York is 1-4. So that's how the AFC East is looking. Anyways, so some of my thoughts on the game. On that drive where we threw the pick, yes, we converted that 4th down. But then at the end of the day, we left that drive with no points. Ball ended up on the 2-yard line, and we couldn't even stop them on defense that time. So, yeah, it doesn't look good for the Dolphins in the sense of not coming away with points there. Come away with points, you put it at a 7-point game. Oh, no, you put it at a 9-point game. 17-9, 8-point game. 8-point game. There you go. You put it there, and the Bills have to score the 2-point conversion just to tie it up with you. But I understand the logic of, you know, we're killing the clock, we're doing good, let's keep it going. They had that momentum from the second half, but literally after that interception, it was all downhill for the Miami Dolphins. No chance of coming back into this game after that interception. To be honest, they didn't really do anything else to change it otherwise. See if anything else I could go over. Let's see our 3rd down conversions. Is there having here? 3rd down efficiency, Miami Dolphins 7 of 13. Bills were 3 of 10. Miami Dolphins were 2 of 2 on 4th down. I mean, we did good. We were playing completely well in the first half, but you gotta play 2 halves in this league. You gotta play. Miami had the ball for 33 minutes and 31 seconds to the Bills 26 minutes and 29 seconds. Miami had 24 first downs. Bills had 17. Miami had 2 turnovers, so we turned over the ball twice. And Miami had 381 yards to the Bills 305. I mean, the Dolphins should have won this game, but we choked. Plain and simple. I mean, the Dolphins pretty much had it in the bag. All they needed to do was put some points on that first drive, and I feel like this game would have been completely different. But that wasn't the case. The Dolphins turned it over, and it all just went tumbling downhill after that. So, totally forgot to mention this. Watching the Brian Flores press conference right now, and what's it called? Christian Wilkins got ejected in the first snap of the game. He threw a punch at the offensive lineman from Buffalo after the whistle was blown, and it wasn't. I literally had just turned on the game and he was already getting ejected. So, yeah, if that doesn't tell you anything, then I don't know. I don't know. So, that being said, I mean, Dolphins are 0-6 now. Tua Tagovailoa had a procedure done on his ankle. I think it's the same ankle that he hurt last season. So it's not looking good for the whole reason of us tanking for Tua. If he's injured, he might be injury prone, I guess you could say. I don't know. I'm not even going to dive into that. I'm just going to be focusing on the season. But yeah, next week, the Miami Dolphins, we play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football. Another highlight of this game, Dolphins scored 14 points in the second quarter. Meanwhile, all season long, the Bills hadn't allowed anyone to score points in the second quarter. I think I said fourth quarter earlier. It's second quarter. So that was a highlight that I liked, but I even tweeted about it. And then, but Dolphins just couldn't put it together and continue what they were doing in the first half into the second half. So some self-reflections had to be done in the Miami Dolphins locker room. And a lot of talks of Kenyon Drake possibly being traded. Who knows? Mark Walton looked pretty good. I liked what I saw from Mark Walton today. Fitzpatrick didn't look bad as a QB, but we're not winning games, so it really doesn't matter. We'll see what happens when we actually start getting results and getting some type of wins out here. But that's pretty much it for me today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a nice thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the post notification bell option to get notified every time I upload a video. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @ByAustinRamos. Check byaustinramos.com. And lastly, fins up.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.